the slide, right? Like the first slide of the deck.
Yep.
Great. Cool. We're right at 1, so I'm gonna go ahead and get us kick-started. Let's do it. Nice. And we have some attendees flooding in. Here we go. Hey everyone, thank you for joining today. I'm going to give everyone in the audience a couple minutes to join in. So join in, sit tight, and we're going to get started in just a little bit. Really excited to be here today with y'all for proactive versus reactive, building your brand in 2023. We have some awesome content today, so just sit tight and we will get started pretty soon. And in the meantime, if you want to answer in the chat, I love asking everyone in the audience like what your favorite e-commerce brands are. We just passed the holiday season, so those were usually for gift ideas. But if you have any favorite brands that you like to purchase from, or just brands that do really cool online marketing or on-site experiences, throw them into the chat. I would love to hear about them. And I can start actually. During the holidays, I used one brand called Uncommon Goods. If y'all ever heard of that, it's like super clean e-commerce experience. Like everything was like too perfect, like suspiciously perfect, but it was awesome. Sweet. And actually, also where you're tuning in from. I would love to know where you're tuning in from before we get started. Couple more minutes. Clearwater, Florida. Gab watches. Long Island, Seattle. I want to go back to Seattle really badly. Rohan, Tina, and Katie, where are y'all located actually? Go on, it's really bad. Yeah.
Go ahead, Rowan.
Toronto, followed up times 2.
And I'm actually just about an hour outside of Toronto, so super close to Rohan and the gorgeous team there.
Nice.
And I'm in New York City.
Nice. Ooh, we got a New Zealand. Hell yeah. Shout out to New Zealand. Sweet. All right, we're 2 minutes in. Got pretty stable attendee count, so I'm gonna go ahead and get this kick started. Thank you everyone for joining today. This is Proactive versus Reactive, building your brand in 2023. We are being joined 3 awesome partners today. We got our folks over at Alloy, Gorgeous, and Yapo. We have some great content for y'all to talk about all things brand strategies for the year ahead and beyond, and just dissecting, what brands that are proactive, what do they do, and what can you do to secure success for the year ahead. So we can go ahead and do some intros. I am Michael from Justuno, of course. I'm today's host and speaker for Justuno. If you haven't seen me before, I host the Justuno webinars, and I love doing it. And then Tina, if you want to kick us off.
Yeah, sure. So I'm Tina. I'm the content marketing and partner marketing lead at Alloy as of recently. And I've been in the e-commerce game for a little bit now. I started my journey at Smile Rewards, and then I was over at Octane AI, and then the Klaviyo and Shopify agency FuelMade, and then now over at Alloy Automation for the past year.
And hi, everyone. I'm Katie McKeever. I'm the director of product marketing at Yapo for our loyalty, reviews, and subscription solutions. I've been with Yapo for a little over 5.5 years. And prior to product marketing, I actually spent a significant amount of time on our customer success side, working on some of our most strategic brands, specifically in the fashion vertical. So yeah, happy to share some key examples from hands-on experience today.
Awesome, and I'll clean things up. Hi, everyone. My name is Rohan. I'm the Senior Platform Partnerships Manager here at Gorgeous. I've been at the company for a little over 2.5 years now, so it's been a pretty cool ride to see the company grow in different functions. I have in the past managed our VC and finance relationships and still do today in a small capacity, but for the most part, I'm focused on our big platform relationships, Shopify and BigCommerce, and helping our company grow from both of those perspectives and making sure we're aligned on all things platform.
Thanks, y'all. Really glad to have y'all here. Really excited for today's webinar. And I think without further ado, we're about 5 minutes in, so we can go ahead and get us kickstarted. Tina will be kicking us off, but before she goes, quick logistical items for today, quick housekeeping. For everyone in the audience, this is being recorded and it will be sent out to all webinar registrants tomorrow. So if you hop early, or if you have someone that you think would want to watch the webinar, we'll send out the recording and you can share that out. Additionally, we would love to see and hear from you. So if you have any questions throughout the webinar for any of our panelists, like what's one of them or all of us, please send those questions into the chat. We are here for you. We do these webinars for you. You know, and we love doing it, love talking about e-commerce, we love talking about strategies. So please ask away. And then we will be dropping our contact information and next steps in the chat as well at the end of the webinar. So if you want to reach out to us later, that'll be there later. But yeah, without further ado, I'm gonna let Tina start sharing her screen and dive right into this awesome topic.
Awesome, thanks so much. Okay, perfect. So I'm assuming you can see my screen now, and perfect. The focus today is talking about proactive brands. So in lieu of that, I'm going to be talking about connecting your tech stack so that you can work smarter, not harder in 2023. So I'm sure everyone feels this as an e-commerce brand founder, marketer, operator, but you have finite resources, time, and cost when it comes to producing quality products and customer experiences. And especially going into this year with, you know, unfortunate recession, rising costs, all of those things, this just gets even more difficult. And so in order to improve any of these areas in what we call the quality triangle, others tend to have to take a hit. So for example, if you're going to launch a new project improving the quality of your products, typically cost and resources and time will increase to do that. But if you want to try to reduce your budget, then you need to increase the time needed on projects. And if you want to reduce the time on projects, then you have to increase cost and resources. So you can see how kind of no matter what, another area has to take a hit here. So this trade-off is true for every e-commerce business. Everyone is juggling their balance of resources, time, and cost in order to operate. So the problem is simple. As a business scales, the demands, the complexity, and the repetition just keep adding up, and systems that maybe were once working for you quickly become very inefficient and they start to break down. And suddenly the time that you could be spending on what's important is actually sacrificed for things that are urgent. So again, we want to be more of a proactive brand versus a reactive brand. So instead of focusing on urgent things like ordering more product ingredients, responding to reviews and support tickets, and organizing customer data, we're going to talk about how automation can be the solution for this. So what if you could streamline operations to increase resources available without increasing time and cost? That's the power that automation can bring for you. So going back to our quality triangle, if you want to use marketing automation to manage abandoned carts, time and resources are saved. And if you want to use it to reduce human error and streamline order management, then cost, time, and resources are saved. So you can kind of see how it can come in and it can help you start to focus on more important tasks that are going to help you scale your business. So what we're talking about today, what I like to call on the left side is Shopify app spaghetti. And that's how a lot of brands are operating, is they have all of these different apps in their tech stack. They're not connected. Some are connected to others aren't. And it just becomes this tangled mess of data integration. And so what we want to try to get to is a more streamlined way of operating your business so that you can keep your customer experiences in tip-top shape. So what parts of your store can you automate? There's typically 3 main buckets: marketing, operations, and data and communication. But I hear from so many brands, they're like, automation sounds amazing. I just don't know how it applies to me. So let me break it down even further. pretty much every single part of your business can be automated. You can build workflows to do absolutely anything. So just a couple more areas to help you maybe see different ways that you could be automating your business, or in the ones that I just shared in the last 2 slides. So that's where we're going to get to the fun part now today. So some of the most interesting and inspiring workflows that I've seen brands build to help them stay proactive in their growth. So let's start with some marketing ones. So first up is perfecting your segmentation. So whether you collect data from purchases, from pop-ups, from surveys, from quizzes, as we've seen, those become very popular in the last few years with the cookie apocalypse. What you can do is you can use an automation tool to take all that data, add tags, and segment customers in your ESP automatically. So, using tags or meta fields, you can streamline segmentation by pulling that data from any app into your ESP. In this example, I'm showing with Klaviyo, but into any ESP, you can do this. So as an example, one merchant that we've worked with sells multiple wine subscriptions. So once a wine subscription is purchased, it triggers a workflow, and the automation platform will review that order to see what kind of subscription was purchased, tag the customer in Shopify with their subscription type, and pull that data into Klaviyo to segment those customers into specific lists. So it could be by wine preference, white, red, rosé. It could be by the level of subscription, if they're, a basic wine drinker versus a wine enthusiast, or even by timing. Do they want a bi-weekly delivery or a monthly delivery of this wine? So from there, the wine company can send very targeted flows based on the type of subscription that was purchased, giving the customer an opportunity to receive specific welcome content, specific, how to pair this wine with certain cheeses or other snacks, and just very, very personalized content throughout the welcome flow. Next is gifting loyalty points based on subscription pricing model. So one thing I love about these marketing use cases is a lot of the times doing very personalized and specific marketing things like this takes so much time out of your day-to-day because they're very manual. And so that doesn't allow you to be super proactive about it. It means you have to be reactive. And so one of the things that I love about this is it's very hands-off. So a lot of the time campaigns like this are just very difficult, but one brand is actually using this to upgrade their customers into higher tiered subscriptions by assigning loyalty points based on the dollar value of the subscription. So in this example, we've got Yotpo and Recharge, 2 great apps to connect. And so they're assigning these loyalty points based on the dollar value. So this helps with earning new activations of the subscription, but it also is pushing that higher AOV, because depending on the pricing plan of the subscription purchased, the customer is bucketed into one of 3 categories and assigned a certain number of points. So the more they spend, the more loyalty points they earn. So by connecting Recharge and Yotpo, basically when a new subscription is created, the customer automatically receives a certain amount of loyalty points. So if they spend between $41 to $100 on a subscription, they receive more points than if they were to spend between $1 to $20 on a subscription. And then for a similar workflow, say the purchase is failed or the person refunds their order, no problem. You just set up another workflow that removes those loyalty points automatically. So you're not giving out loyalty points for free. And then running a personalized customer support campaign. So this was an example from Jones Road Beauty. So Eli Weiss is the director of retention and CX there. And I loved this use case, super personalized way to get in touch with your customers without any hands-on work. So they ran a campaign where if a customer were to text match to the brand's number, it meant that they wanted to work with a skincare specialist to find the right skin tone for Jones Road products. So when this text was sent, they would create a webhook that captured this information from the brand's Attentive app, and then create an internal gorgeous ticket with the customer's email. So from there, the workflow would then send that information to a makeup artist on the Jones Road team, and those makeup experts would reach out to the customer with a message asking them to share an image of their face in natural light. And then once the customer replies, the team would follow up with the right shade of products that the customer could use. So super proactive way to get customers purchasing the right skin tone and then avoiding all those returns and angry emails because they felt like they couldn't match themselves online by themselves. So now we're going to go into some operations use cases. So these will be some of the most beneficial for being more of a proactive than a reactive brand this year. So first up is avoiding overselling by automatically controlling your inventory. So it's definitely not a good look for your business if customers purchase a product and then get an email later that says, sorry, this item is actually out of stock. Screenshot here from a real experience I unfortunately had. It's very disappointing. And honestly, in most cases, the customer is just going to ask for a refund and then go find a brand that can fulfill that order instead. So the ideal customer experience was not met, and you're leaving someone kind of in a bad taste you're leaving them with a bad taste in their mouth about your brand with the first interaction that they're even having with you. So you want to avoid letting this happen. So you can create an automated workflow that is triggered in real time when your inventory hits a certain quantity. And then once that starts, your website will automatically push back 0 to buffer the rest of the inventory you have. So then the product automatically will display as out of stock on your site, which is protecting you from accidentally overselling and reserving that product, also making you avoid having to constantly look through your inventory levels to say, oh, is this hit a certain level? Okay, let me go to my website now and then update that. So just a very automated, hands-off way to do that. Another one that I love is auto-generating purchase orders for product ingredients. So any beauty brands that are potentially listening, and I'm sure going to feel this pain point. So La Maru is one of my favorite brands that we work with. And one of the workflows that they had built was this. So Andy and Nicole are the co-founders, and they manage La Maru's manufacturing and sourcing processes completely themselves. They realized that they were spending so much time on ordering the right ingredients for each product that they sell, because one product alone can have like 25 different ingredients. So that is obviously very difficult to keep track of all of those ingredients and the different SKUs and their quantities. So what they did was they created a workflow where they have a single Google Sheet as their one source of truth. And it includes all of their ingredients the team has in stock and the quantity of each. And with each ingredient, as soon as it dips below a certain amount in that Google Sheet, a workflow is triggered and it creates an invoice in QuickBooks. So they also get a Slack message on top of that saying, okay, this invoice has been created. You need to go in and send the PO to the supplier. So it's the only manual part of the process for them, is going and sending that PO, and then they're keeping their ingredients in stock without having to look through and make all those calculations on their own. So this was just one of 2 workflows that La Maru used. And by doing so, they actually saved over 8 hours every single week. And that's just from 2 workflows. There's brands that are using 20, 30 workflows. So you can imagine how this quickly adds up to so much time saved. So going back to operations use cases, automating where's my order inquiries. Any CX people in here? I'm sure that this is probably the #1 question that you get, is people in the DMs going, hey, where's my order? Can you track my order for me? And there's so many other support tickets that you have to go through. So you can actually automate this question so your team never has to answer it again. So instead of opening each ticket, looking up the customer's information, tracking down their order manually, you can just create a workflow. And in that same workflow, you can set up a message to actually automatically respond to the customer where their order is. So you can pull this data from a combination of tools, your platform, your shipping, support channels, all of that to make this happen. And then another one of our favorite use cases is with Gorgias. So when you have an open chat with a customer, it will automatically pull in data from their Shopify account, which obviously helps your support team be able to quickly reference information about the customer they're chatting with. And so while these widgets automatically pull in Shopify data, Gorgias actually has an API for other platforms and tools to build a widget too. So even if you aren't using a tool that isn't directly integrated with Gorgias, you can still use a tool like Alloy to make an integration seamless using a workflow and pulling any information from any other platform. So for example, BigCommerce, you could populate the same important customer information into your Gorgias widget using that API very easily. So just piling up so much customer information that they don't even have to leave the platform to look for important stuff. And then moving into our last area, which is data and communications use cases. So calculating order profitability. So Inked Gaming is another great example of a company that we worked with. And when we first started working with them, they really wanted help calculating their order profitability in the same way or in an easy way. But to do this, you need to see shipping costs in relation to how much each customer is spending per order. So very manual process to sit down and calculate that. And especially for a brand like Inked Gaming, if you're familiar with them, they have like semi-custom SKUs where there's like different configurations that every customer can order. So the cost just amounts to very different costs every time an order is completed. So what we did was we connected Inked Gaming's ShipStation account with Shopify. And then we created a workflow to pull shipping costs and order information from each order. So when an item is placed, we check that whether it's a custom order or not. When it's found, we then calculate the cost of the goods sold for that variant and ingest the shipping costs that the customer paid. And since shipping costs aren't always indicative of the rest of the real cost of shipping, because you could be offering a promotion, shipping costs change. So the real shipping cost isn't actually determined until after the item is shipped. So we wait for that data and then we calculate the profitability percentage on an order by order basis. And then we send that data to a Google Sheet for the Inked Gaming team to review in real time. And then combining metrics from multiple platforms. So kind of building off that Inked Gaming experience. Again, you can pull all these kind of metrics from any app in your tech stack, send them to a Google Sheet so you can just see all of these things in one easy area, just to help you make informed decisions, making sure all of your data is flowing to the right places, and then having Google Sheet updated instantly. Which another thing that people like to do is get that Slack message as well. So I've mentioned this in a few examples throughout today. So basically, anytime something is triggered in a workflow, you can also make sure a ping is sent to your Slack team. So these are just a few examples of probably the most common ones that we see requested. And it's so easy. Any single workflow, the very last piece, Slack ping, and then anytime a customer makes an action, whether they subscribe, unsubscribe, join a loyalty program, fill out a survey, return an order, if there's a fraudulent order, anything like that, you can easily get a ping to your Slack team, and then they can react to it immediately and get ahead of things. And then lastly is discovering and preventing fraud. So your team needs to be made aware of fraudulent orders. I know they probably don't happen super often, but it is still a very high risk thing. So whenever an order is placed that is marked as high risk, a risky tag is applied and your team member can begin verifying that order. So if you want to automatically cancel these high risk orders, when a new order is placed, you can check if that order is listed as high risk. And if certain conditions are met, you can automatically cancel that order and email your team notifying them that that order was actually canceled. If you don't want to cancel it, you can confirm instead. So again, getting that Slack ping, someone on your team can reach out immediately to that customer, confirm that their credit card details or shipping details were actually correct, and then confirm that order and make sure it goes through. So it takes an army of e-commerce tools to run and grow your business these days. If you're already a small business owner, you know how much time and money it takes just to keep up with the latest and greatest. The new technology is constantly being launched. So our goal is simple. We want to make automation accessible to all business owners and help them see ways it could be applied. So removing repetitive work allows for more people to be creatives, innovators, and outstanding employees to help you increase sales. And it gives you the time to proactively approach all of your marketing and operations, avoiding last-minute fires and delays. If you're not quite sure how you should get started or want some more use cases, I will drop this in the chat. It is our e-commerce automation playbook, so truly helps you get started from A to Z, gives you use cases for any type of app in your tech stack. So I'll drop the link to that. I know we're short on time for questions, so I'll also drop my email. And if you do feel like you have any follow-up questions you want to ask, please feel free to email me whenever, and I'm happy to answer. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Tina. Yeah, we're going to go on to Katie in just a second, but yeah, I really wanted Alloy on this webinar for this reason of automation and clearly just the astounding use cases that's possible through Alloy and just the automation process. You got some love in the chat. So everyone in the chat, if you have any further questions for Tina, please make sure to reach out to her in the chat right now, ask her more questions. Also reach out to her on LinkedIn, email that she'll provide. But thank you so much, Tina. And we're going to go on to Katie from Yapo.
hard act to follow, I must say. All right. Okay. I'm working off of one screen, so definitely shout out if there is any issues being able to see everything. So again, hi everyone, Katie McKeever, Director of Product Marketing. So today for the Yotpo session, we're going to specifically focus on how loyalty and subscriptions can really start to set the stage for retention and how you can be successful in 2023 with some proactive opportunities through these solutions. So for those of you who aren't familiar with Yotpo or maybe have heard about us in years past, we are an e-commerce retention marketing platform. So we offer a suite of solutions that are data-driven, from everything from reviews and visual UGC, where we got started, to now we've expanded our solutions into loyalty, SMS, and most recently we've built in-house a subscription solution. So we're really building a platform in which we want to create opportunities for brands of all sizes to be able to create experiences that drive customers not from their first purchase to really be repeat loyal customers. So why this is so important today and why we have this focus as our business is we understand that there's a clear larger problem that's happening in the world today. And it's primarily with customer acquisition costs becoming so high. Brands need to find opportunities in which they can balance by investing and focusing more on customer retention in order to thrive in today's economic trials. So we recently surveyed a lot of e-commerce brands, and it's clear that there's been a substantial increase in brands understanding that this is a key focus, that they understand. We have 52% are more focused on retention than they have been in the past. But the reality is we found 40% of brands haven't made any changes to their retention strategy. So they simply don't know where to start, because retention can be much more complex than acquisition. So talking today about ways in which you can build retention solutions, and that it should really be a proactive versus reactive engagement with customers. So we'll go through a lot of tangible examples, specifically through the lens of loyalty and subscription, how you can create those proactive outreaches that will ultimately nurture and engage customers in an effective way that will drive their long-term loyalty to your brand. So specifically why we think that subscriptions and loyalty are the key places for merchants to look to for building customer retention is subscriptions have really taken off, especially since COVID. We all know that there was a time in which everybody needed to have their products automatically fulfilled, whether that was groceries or running out of toilet paper, that you needed that to come right to your doorstep. And it has very much so caught on in consumer expectations in what they're looking for from brands, whether it's convenience. As Tina pointed out, there's lots of issues with out of stock, and how can you just have that predictability that you're not having to go back and run into a situation where your favorite product is out, but that it's automatically replenished. So 40% of shoppers wish their favorite brands offered subscriptions. So if I already love something like a makeup product, I want to be able to just have that be as easy that it's coming to me when I'm likely to run out of it. 93% of customers would start a subscription with a new brand. So this just goes to point out that like consumer behavior is changing, and it's very evident that customers want a subscription experience. And then with loyalty, it's no surprise that 60% of shoppers say loyalty programs make them more loyal to a brand. And it's not just the ability to have rewards that drive this type of behavior. There's a lot of important things that a loyalty program should encompass that will drive this type of loyalty. So that's when customers participate in a loyalty program, they're much more engaged on social channels. They're reading about all of your social and your brand values. So again, it's no surprise that it definitely does elicit and change that behavior. So this is why when we talk about retention at Yapo, it's really quite obvious that loyalty and subscription are key opportunities for you to drive that forward. So getting into some of the actual tangible examples of some top loyalty strategies. So again, thinking about how important it is to be proactive versus reactive. I can't tell you in my years at Yapo how many brands that I've worked with that they have a loyalty program and they're like, people don't know about it. It's not performing well. And the only place they're promoting it is in the footer on their website. Like there's no opportunity for customers to find out about your loyalty program if you're not effectively marketing it. So it is so critical that you think about on-site experiences and marketing campaigns that are driving that activation. It's not enough when you first launch a program to have that one time, hey, we have a loyalty program. You need to be doing that and working it into all of your marketing strategies and campaigns, especially for first-time purchasers, letting them know that you have this experience in which they can earn rewards for shopping with you. There's tons of opportunities to constantly remind also your current loyalty members that there's more ways for them to earn. It's really important that you think about opportunities for like 2 times double point weekends. Really easy to do also with Yapo. Speaking of the value of automation, we have campaign scheduling that makes it easy for you to go in before, Valentine's Day and set up ahead of time that you want to have 2 times the points over that weekend. So we make it really easy. We know how important it is for you to have a living and breathing loyalty program, that we need to make it easy for you to actually activate those types of campaigns. Another really critical thing that we're identifying when it comes to our top performing loyalty programs is brands need to make redemption experiences seamless. Like gone are the days where somebody sends me an email and it has a loyalty coupon code in my email. It's much too cluttered with marketing campaigns, et cetera. In order to have those types of experiences, you really need to think about different opportunities that will drive redemption. So the checkout experience needs to be very, very seamless. So we integrate very well with the Shopify checkout, where right as the customer is going on the checkout page, they'll see their rewards eligibility and can select that from a dropdown seamlessly. We've also introduced with our SMS solution, talking about the importance of our integrated solutions, where customers can simply, they'll be getting a SMS related to loyalty, letting them know here's the points that you're eligible for a reward. Again, a proactive outreach. Hey, did you know? And trying to drive activation of that customer that you can easily add that discount automatically to checkout. This is huge that it's just automatically added. Again, there's no copy and paste experience. It's very, very seamless. We've seen phenomenal results from recent brands who have released this with 74 times ROI when using this click to redeem experience via SMS. And then lastly, this is obvious, but it's important for me to always talk about, is that you need to have engaging experiences that extend beyond just, hey, you have a discount. Think about different events and opportunities that might not cost you a lot of money. All brands today are budget conscious. Instead of offering tons of discounts, can we do just early access to certain things? Can we invite people to participate, again, like in an in-person event, et cetera? All right, moving on to subscription strategies. So you need to think about subscription outside of the box of subscribe and save. I just want a discount. Of course, that's a very critical and valuable opportunity for customers. As I said, I personally know I want convenience, but there's other opportunities for brands that might not sit in a consumable product. So I worked on the fashion vertical for years and years. there's really great opportunities for you to have subscription models that are about curated experiences. Think about Stitch Fix or those types of, you get a box of preset products. This is a great opportunity to introduce new products or collections to shoppers that they might not have tried otherwise. So there's a ton of opportunity when you think about, okay, of course, subscription can drive repeat purchases, but how can I actually grow the AOV of my customers overall? Is curation's a good entry point for that, of getting them to try from new collections that they haven't thought about in the past. And you really need to treat subscribers like VIPs. Definitely, if you have a loyalty program, it needs to be a component of that. But if you don't have loyalty and you just have subscription, you need to really think about how you're providing those customers with elevated experiences when it comes to brand communication. Also very important to make it clear what subscriptions you have. So I have an example here of a subscription landing page. Like, you need to be able to promote in the same way you do a loyalty program, a page where it communicates the value and what options you have. Be able to direct people to a specific collection page where you have all the products you offer as subscription. Because some brands might only offer 10% of their products as subscription. Show consumers what you have available for that option. And then lastly, again, talking about the seamless experience for customers, really can be executed well through an SMS solution. Customers need to be, with subscription, made aware of upcoming deliveries, upcoming payments, so that they're able to make modifications that can then lead to long-term retention. So there's a ton of evidence about consumers that leverage that flexibility by maybe deciding they have too much of a product and they simply want to delay their next shipment or skip their next shipment entirely. Those are the customers that end up being much more long-term when they have that flexibility. So really seamless opportunities to be doing this via SMS. Again, it's hard when it's via email. SMS is very tangible, where it's quick for them to click in. Great, I have an upcoming subscription order. Let me edit if I need to change when it's coming. All right. Okay, so just to bring it home by kind of talking through, we always call our journey Jane's journey. So thinking about all of our solutions in a connected experience, about all of the proactive outreach that you need to do throughout a customer's entire journey to keep them engaged. So first and foremost, unbelievably important that after their first purchase, you're asking for a review. How did that experience go? Did you like the product? And that you have experiences that can appease customers in different tracks. So if it's a customer who's had a really great experience, you now know that because you proactively asked for a review, you can now get them into the retention funnel of, great, we'd love to either have you subscribe to that product long-term, or, hey, did you know that we have a loyalty program? You just earned points for writing a review, and then drive activation through, again, some of those double point activities, or just getting somebody onto a subscription plan. Think about how much more likely a customer is to subscribe if you know that they've already purchased and had a great experience, than asking them for the first time, hey, do you want to commit long-term? Or if you have somebody in your loyalty program, those people probably love your product, they're engaging. Those are going to be the right people to ask to subscribe. Okay, just to bring us home, I wanted to give an example again, because I've talked about curation, because I want people to think about loyalty outside of just that replenishment opportunity. So Till You Collapse is a great example of a leggings company that we worked with that came up with a box of the month that people can subscribe to get their favorite leggings, just in an assortment of different colors. And they saw unbelievable results that when they moved to us, they saw 3 times subscriber growth in 3 days, having this new kind of curation experience, but also 27% increase in revenue in their slowest quarter. So really important for brands today who might be struggling. What are new opportunities for me to drive revenue, especially when you might be having a down quarter? Lots of opportunity and proof here from how subscription can help there. And that's it from me.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Katie. That was great. I really loved all of the stats, especially at the very beginning, of showing kind of the importance of retention of SMS, of all of it, really. I mean, there's just so much that I've been here with this topic, obviously, proactive perspective. There's so many different things brands can do and should do, but I mean, there's only so much time in a day, but it's great to have it displayed, and especially that, and the little graphic you displayed of like the whole journey. I love seeing that sort of thing. Awesome. Well, thank you very much. We have about 20 minutes left, so I'm going to kick us off, and then hopefully we'll have a few more minutes for questions at the end. I'm the host, and I'm not ready with my deck. Just kidding. All right. All right. Can everyone see my screen all right? Loading. Good to go? Cool. All right. Awesome. Well, let's get started. So our section is all about on-site strategies you can do for more proactive things throughout the year. But really briefly about Justuno, like I said earlier, I'm Michael. I'm a partner marketing manager, and Justuno is a CRO, or conversion rate optimization suite. We do all things on-site messaging, conversion, from lead capture to banners to product recommendations, push notifications, and more. So we have your whole on-site experience covered, but we can dive right in. So today I want to talk about three main things. As I just said with Katie, this is not all-inclusive. There's a ton of different things you can implement on-site, but three things that proactive brands especially seem to do. The first, they're always collecting data, and especially using data. I mean, we live in a time of rampant data. Sometimes we have like too much data fatigue, even, I think is what I've heard recently. And however, it's still important to collect it. And then I'm going to show you like using the data for your on-site and off-site campaigns. And then number two is, like we've already said a little bit, but focusing on the customer experience. It only takes one bad experience for like about 2/3 on average of all consumers to completely disengage with the brand. So focusing on a good, high quality customer experience is pretty crucial. And one thing I really liked about Katie's presentation was the focus on retention. I think in 2023, the looming recession sort of talk is, I mean, it's been around for like 3-4 months now. Whatever is the case, budgets are a little bit tighter. So retention and customer loyalty, customer lifetime value is going to be more important this year than straight new acquisition. I think across the board. So, and a good customer experience, of course, is directly involved in retention. And secondly, on that note, is creating continuity across experiences. Just we have some pretty awesome features that help create continuity from offsite to on-site campaigns I'll dive into. And then thirdly, personalizing and building trust. The second part, building trust, there is absolutely crucial as well. I think we live in a time of also brand distrust in a way, or company distrust. So ways you can build trust between new customers and even returning customers, to help them come back is really important. So let's start right at the top, and we're going to go a little bit quicker, and that is about zero-party data. So I'm going to talk about zero-party and first-party data. Zero-party data is everything that a customer or person gives you directly. So this is via quizzes, surveys. It's about their product interests. People survey when they hop onto your site about, are you shopping for a cat or a cat or a dog or or any sort of pet, and then also like gender, birthday, like product preferences, anything you want to know about them that they're directly telling you. That's zero-party data that you have. You can also gather, a zip code to see where they are in the world, to see if you have a retail location nearby, things like that. And then also, where do they prefer to be messaged? Email, SMS, push notifications. What are they looking for their channel opt-ins? You don't want to inundate them, and you want them to have have it be their own experience. So in terms of first party data, that's everything that you're passively collecting, and you can do that via lead capture forms. You can collect a lot of information via hidden fields, where they're tuning in from, where they are in the world. And then also if they purchased with you before, if you're looking at your holiday shoppers from just the past 2 months, what did they previously order? And then also where are they coming from? Are they coming from a social? Are they coming from your Instagram page or Facebook page, an email campaign? Where are they coming from? And then giving them experiences based on the information is really crucial. And one thing I think is really cool, and especially if you're a alcohol or CBD brand, or a brand or a vertical where there might be unique laws governing like how you market yourself, location based can be really important. Maybe you might not be able to sell everywhere, or you might only have certain restrictions. So by gathering and using where they're based out of, you can send them messaging that's specific to where they're based out of, and really help kind of start learning more about them, and then informing your campaigns for greater conversion. So one use case in particular I wanted to highlight was zero party data in action. This is Premama. They're a Justuno client of ours, and they start with this lead capture on the left side here, and you get to select down what stage are you as your journey to motherhood, and then they select where they are, into their email, and then so if you're trying to conceive, you start with these products, and then you go from there to there to there, all based off that initial lead capture form at the very top left. Is what stage are you? And then if you're already pregnant, you can send them an email with different products, and then go on from there. So it's relatively simple and straightforward, and we have integrations with all the top tech folks in e-commerce. So we make this super easy, and we find that our clients that take advantage of the data have tremendous results, essentially. And there's a lot to dive into here, but let's keep going. So like I said at the beginning, the second point is creating continuity from pre to post purchase. So we enable you to mirror creative on-site to drive everything from the discovery to purchase. So in this example to the right here, it's a Facebook advertisement for camera-ready cosmetics. They tap on that, they take the link, and then that drives them to the site. And basically you use similar or the same imagery, you use same sort of copy and creative throughout the whole experience to make it really consistent throughout the whole journey. And there's a lot of other great examples of this where brands provide very similar to the same copy throughout the whole journey that ends up helping drive conversion. There's a lot to dive into here, but I'm gonna keep on going. Secondly, here is segmenting. So by using that first and zero party data, you can segment what pop-ups, what promotions are shown to your visitors. You can segment them by your email or SMS. And then if they were, for example, if you want to launch like a VIP customer segment, if they purchased from you maybe like 2 years ago before you got really big or something like that, you can add them to their own list and then send them. And then when they're back on your site, give them special access and make them feel exclusive. They'll feel appreciated. You can provide free or discounted shipping, early product access, or early sale access even too. There's a lot of different ways you can segment, and some of which Katie covered, so I'm not going to go on too long about it. And then lastly, product recommendations. So of all the things I think that proactive brands do outside of gathering the data, it's product recommendations year round. If you're always like, if you go on Amazon or in a site like Amazon, if you look at a single product, boom, they are immediately providing you with so many like other products you might be interested in. And then the more you browse, the more specific they get. So, and I think it's a misconception that brands of any size, really, I mean, we've had tremendous success for relatively smaller brands that they think that they can't use product recommendations because they're too small. But in reality, you can use it at any size, and you can provide really custom, personalized experience to every visitor without they don't even need an account necessarily, and give them exactly what they're looking for. You can do all sorts of product recommendations, and throughout the year, especially if you have these going on, product recommendations average 35% conversion rate and a nearly $175 AOV, which is a very big jump from traditional conversion stats. But there's a lot to dive into here, and I'll share some resources afterward of some better examples. And then one of my favorite slides here is about building trust in 2023. So proactive brands, they are always building trust, and sometimes that means giving without getting anything back yet. So, you know, you can leverage personalization to build trust and remove the roadblocks. So like I said earlier, using a store locator by using their geolocation to show within certain areas where they can find your store, or where they can find your products in person. If they want to go look at it, maybe sell clothing if you have a retailer somewhere in their area. And then also the satisfaction guarantees, or even just like really good discounts for limited time. You can do in-car or in-pop-up recommendations across the board, and then just really providing them with everything they want to know. And then cart abandonment too, leveraging reviews and testimonials. Reviews and testimonials are huge. I think a lot of people know that, and they're just really, really important for building brands that people trust. And then I'm going to wrap up with this final slide. If you've been to our webinars before, I apologize. You've probably seen this on most of them, but that's because we can't emphasize this enough. SMS and mobile experiences are on the rise for years now, and this Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and holiday season, we saw more mobile sales or sales made on mobile than ever before. So we cannot emphasize that enough, that how you need to have a good mobile experience. And it's crucial for optimizing sales, especially during the holiday season. So real quick, I will share this recording afterward, but turning off your close for dim, for pop-ups, making it easy to close, don't infuriate them, clear CTAs, don't use fonts less than 14 points, and use side tabs. You know, if they're on mobile, don't put it front and center and make it difficult to navigate the site. And with that, I'm going to stop sharing, and that's all I have for y'all. Thank you very much, and transition off to Rohan. Sweet.
Okay, you guys got my screen there?
Good to go.
Perfect. Okay, I'm going to bring this one home for everybody. Excited to have a quick chat around customer support and maybe tie together a few loose ends as well to round out today's webinar. My name is Rohan, as I mentioned at the top. I manage our platform relationships here at Gorgeous with Shopify and BigCommerce, and also have managed a couple of our tech partners in the past too. Excited to talk to you guys about being proactive on the customer support side of things. We have this conversation pretty frequently. It's one of our biggest talking points as it relates to our over 10,000 brands, and excited to communicate some of those points here to you today too. But taking away from this presentation here today, building strong relationships with your customers, of course, driving those sales and conversions by being proactive and creating that ultimate top-notch customer experience at the end of the day. So like I mentioned briefly, we work with 10,000 brands all across the D2C spectrum. So early stage e-commerce all the way through to enterprise. You can be an early stage startup just looking for customer support help desk to consolidate a lot of your communications, or if you're more on the enterprise side of things, like a couple of the logos you see on screen, Decathlon, Steve Madden, the Miami Heat. Maybe you're a little bit more of a complex solution and you need something a little bit more robust. We're here to service you. We work only in e-commerce. That's our bread and butter, and that's the lane that we chose to take. And we're excited to work with a variety of top partners, including the 3 others on this call, to make this ecosystem bigger, better, and stronger. And before we hop into some of the proactive initiatives that you can take on the customer support side of things, I always like to highlight some of the trends that we do see in customer engagement. First and foremost, there are more channels than we've ever seen, and more brands are starting to use a variety of different channels. So things like live chat campaigns, things like SMS, which we'll talk about a little later on. Those are opportunities to really be proactive with your existing community and potentially new prospects, new prospective customers that you can bring to your website to make a purchase. So it's important that you highlight the fact that there are channels out there for you to use, aside obviously from the main ones that are traditional. And the whole point of being proactive is the ability to turn those browsers into buyers before they hit your website. So whether it's through an SMS campaign potentially, or maybe even on social media. How are you harnessing those leads and pushing them to your website to go ahead and make a purchase or add to their cart to produce a higher average order value? Driving efficiency through machine learning and automation. So doing this actually frees up a lot of time for customer support agents to then be able to be proactive in their communications. And ultimately what this leads to is increased sales from customer support. And that's what we encourage our brands to look at on a day-to-day basis, so that they turn customer support into a sales channel, not just a reactive tool, which it has been traditionally in the past. A couple challenges and reasons to be proactive, which I've highlighted on past webinars, and maybe I'll rush through it a little bit here today just to make sure I'm within time. Customers are waiting way too long, A, for just getting a response, and B, getting a resolution to their answers, to their questions rather. They're not personalized responses. Sometimes they just feel like a ticket number. They have to repeat themselves a number of times. It really just creates not such a good customer experience with the brand, so much so that there's a potential that that customer just hops over to another website to make a purchase. And these are all reasons for brands to instill things like automation, machine learning, to be able to free up a lot of time to be proactive in their communications, to not miss out on things like addressing someone by their name, or getting back to them in a reasonable period of time, not 12 hours. And merchants pay the price in the following ways: missed sales opportunities, decreased efficiency, lower customer satisfaction score. It also leads to higher labor and technology costs, in the form of, for missed sales opportunities, conversions, possibly return on ad spend. Are you not harnessing those social leads where they're engaging with you on social media, on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram, and not being proactive in these opportunities is also leading to a lower average order value, right? You lack that 360 view of the customer by getting the chance to proactively get to know them a little bit better through your channels. And it's leaving you a little bit short when you could understand how to pitch more opportunities to them, more products on your website that they could have, that could add value to their cart purchase that already exists, to produce a higher average order value. And so how can you be a little bit more proactive? Well, we talk about automation and machine learning quite frequently. And what you see here on the screen is a macro. So building a response to very common and repetitive questions, which was brought up earlier in the webinar. So things like, where's my order? What's my shipping status? You can easily automate something like this. So you can pull directly from the Shopify integration, order number, tracking information, shipping information. All of those things you don't need to copy and paste for, or go back and forth between Shopify and Gorgeous to leave room for manual human error. That's point number one. Point number two is, if you do have a loyalty program in place or a point system in place, this is a big opportunity to not just let the customer know about where their order is in the shipping process, but also, do they have points with you? Can they go back to the website, use these points, or get involved with the loyalty program to come back to your website while their first item is shipping to possibly make another purchase? Maybe they didn't know about it, and you are letting them know proactively in this automated email that, yes, you do have points, come back to our website and maybe take another look around. Live chat campaigns is something that we also talk about frequently. So the ability to pop up a live chat on a specific page after a user is on it for a certain period of time. So maybe I'm on a product page like this one you see on your screen for 5 seconds or 8 seconds, and a live chat campaign pops up asking me if I need help. And just by doing this, in this particular case where there's a large number of different shades, maybe it's tough to pick the right one for me, I might need a little bit more help. And so the live chat campaign that pops up is asking me, do I need help? It might ask me a few more questions that will help me to choose the right product. So at the end of the day, I'm not bouncing from that page, I'm actually adding to cart. And a real example from OG Cosmetics, a customer of ours, is somebody not just purchasing one item as a result of this campaign, but 5 items in the amount of $206. So it does lead to higher conversions. And again, having automations built in the back end, like we talked about earlier, frees up a lot of time for agents to be proactive in things like live chat campaigns to be able to produce sales like this. And in the interest of time, I'll run through the actual dashboard on that. But SMS campaigns as well. SMS converts quite highly, and there's the opportunity to engage with your existing community, perhaps make announcements via SMS. And Olipop, one of our customers, did make an announcement via SMS, a new flavor launch. They rolled out 10,000 text messages, 3,000 total clicks, and it led to $65,000 in sales almost. just by giving their existing customer base a little bit of added access to a new flavor that was potentially rolling out. Maybe they had a discount code involved in that SMS text message. Maybe there was a little bit more incentive for their existing community to come to the website. But being proactive and engaging with your customers on different channels that are getting used more and more, like SMS, can really make a difference. And you see that on the screen right there. Again, in the interest of time, and be proactive with your social browsers. So both on the acquisition side and on the retention side, make sure you have the ability to engage with those browsers, Instagram, Facebook, on Twitter, if they're leaving positive comments on your brand, if they're tagging friends on potentially an ad comment, if they're asking about a color, a product description. Those are all opportunities to be proactive and acquire those customers by integrating your social with your help desk. And also on the post-purchase side, right? So making sure that they're happy with their product purchase, leaving a little bit more of a personalized touch to it. Or sometimes maybe there's a negative comment regarding the customer experience process and you need to handle something a little bit more proactively. Doing that could actually retain that customer, even if they did have a slightly negative experience the first time around. If you can show them that you can make up for it, then you're going to retain that customer at the end of the day. And again, freeing up time to be proactive. So automations obviously is one thing that we talked about, but also implementing something with your help desk called self-serve, right? Allowing customers to go in and help themselves on things that are very, again, common and repetitive. Like if you need to track an order or return an order, cancel an order, report an issue, potentially want to retroactively apply a discount code. All of these different things are possible within a self-serve function. And if you do provide that option for merchants, then again, it's going to free up agent time to then go out and be a little bit more proactive through a variety of different channels. And I'll wrap up here just by highlighting net new versus retention on the customer side of things. If all goes well, post-purchase behavior from happy customers means that they're engaged with well-timed email campaigns, they're leaving positive reviews and CSAT scores, signing up for customer community or participating on social channels, referring their friends, making repeat purchases. Maybe there's a loyalty program involved, and being proactive on the customer support side of things through a variety of different channels ensures that you get 5 check marks on these 5 categories. And that's important because the size of your repeat customers, generally can sit on average around 21%. But if you look at a revenue that's generated out of those repeat customers by being a little bit more proactive with the community that you do have, it's leading to 44% of the revenue. So smaller percentage of your customer base, but it's a higher percentage of your revenue. Make sure you're not forgetting about the community that you do have. Be proactive in your communications with them through SMS, through social media, through live chat, through email. And at the end of the day, make sure you're retaining them long term, because anybody can switch in this day and age. And hopefully I did a good job keeping that a little bit more concise to round out the hour here, but I appreciate the time, Justuno, for having us on this webinar, and Allo and Yapo for participating with us here today too. 2 strong partners in our ecosystem, so we always love hearing from them. 2 months free at Gorgias from me. Email me at rohan@gorgias.com if you're interested in learning more.
Boom. Thank you so much, Rohan. That was perfect, actually. That was really efficient. That was fantastic. Yeah, we are at 3 past, so I'm going to go ahead and close this out. Thank y'all so much for joining. For everyone in the audience, thank y'all for joining. The webinar recording will be sent out tomorrow, so you will be able to see this again. Don't worry. And I'm going to include all of our contact information and our offers in that email, so look out tomorrow for that. Thank you all again for joining. And panelists, I want to sign off real fast. Thank you all very much for joining us. Cool.
Thank you.
Awesome. Bye, everybody.